Hi, today I want to talk to you about communication. You remember those olden golden days when we used to send letters to each other? It used to be very exciting whenever we used to get a letter from someone. I remember it. I used to wait for hours standing outside on the road only to get a glimpse of postman. And I was expecting a letter maybe from my sister, from my distant cousin, or maybe someone known to me. The real charm of letter was that I knew that person who is going to write letter to me is specifically wanting to communicate with me. And that space that letter had created, that moment of reading that letter was just about the sender and the receiver. In this case, it's me. I knew it was all about expression, expression of what I want to write, expression of what the sender wants to write. I want to talk to you about communication today and how it has been evolving over a period of time and how this communication have been changing um, our relationships in general. So going back to the time when we used to get letters, the postman, when delivered the letter, I used to feel excited. I was not expecting anything except for a space which was meant specifically for me. Someone who was about to share their happiness, share their grief, success, anything. It was just a genuine expression of themselves. And that is why I always enjoyed writing letters more, writing messages more, one on one, because that particular space is just about expression. Whenever I'm writing someone, whenever I'm writing a letter, a message, or an email, it is just about what I want to communicate as a person, what I want to express as a person. So, the first important aspect of communication is expression. Now let's come back to today's time when it's not about letters anymore. The postman is not delivering the letters. It's about social media, whether it is WhatsApp, whether it is Facebook, LinkedIn, anything. We have transformed or we have transitioned into a era where we are still communicating, but it is no longer one to one. It is about one to many. And that's not just the point that we want to communicate in one to many fashion. It is also about what we are communicating. Look at the Instagram, look at WhatsApp statuses, would look at LinkedIn. We all are sharing the brighter, the more positive aspects of our life. We are sharing how we have been successful. We are sharing our struggle that we have conquered, a failure that is no longer a failure. And we are sharing about our ways in which we conquered those failures and eventually emerged as a successful person. And that is only the time when we talk about how we failed and how we our own drawbacks and our own shortcoming or difficult situation. Is it about expression? Yes, but it is also about performance. It is also about we are showing a version of ourselves to a lot of people in a one to many fashion that we want to show. But do we really want to show who we are all the time? No. Do we really want to show something that we are suffering while we are suffering and when the we are not going through a very healthy phase or some very difficult situation of our life? No, we don't want that. And that's where the transition has happened. Communication is no longer about expression. It is more about showing that brighter side, that more successful, the joy, the celebrative, the the good part of ours, which we want to show. And therefore, I sometimes feel as if we are communicating less to express and more to perform. A performance in which we always show how we have been a winner, how we got rewarded. And that shift has done a lot of things that usually go unnoticed. And in this episode, actually want to discuss that shift and how the impact of that communication is subtly and more noticeably is there on our relationship. When I put up a lot of pictures about traveling, I put up a lot of pictures about my achievement, change of job, my credentials. It becomes a lot about personal branding. How? Imagine tomorrow one of your personal brands, let's say Apple, starts showing things that they have goofed up, start showing things that they have failed, or they start leaking their own secrets, or maybe their own their own intellectual properties, or something that they are really good at and they don't want the competitors to know. Everything they start putting it on in the public domain. Would you still enjoy, or would you still be loyal to Apple, or you will have a confused, a mixed sort of feeling about Apple or any other favorite brand of yours? You love your brand because somewhere the brand is communicating, it is making you feel important, and not just important, there is a relatability. That is what I term as personal branding, because all the time we are talking about this is how we are traveling. This is the difficult situations we have overcome. This is how we have learned things, moved on, or something that we have achieved in our life. And when we create this narrative, that is when the personal branding gets labeled to us. I mean, can you imagine that a politician is suddenly singing something for someone, or maybe just pick up your leader, him. You know what will happen? You will get confused. And there is nothing wrong in saying things that goes against the personality. It's just that when a narrative about us have been created, then that narrative becomes our brand. And we all, in our one to many communication, we all want that branding. We all crave for that attention. And we all want to do more of that thing. And therefore, this entire WhatsApp thing, the Facebook, LinkedIn is more about personal brand. But the cost of that is the expression. You don't express all the time that you are sad. You don't express all the time that you have failed. You don't express that you are grieving. And because of that, you only portray your life with a mask that I'm happy and I have done something great about something. And that is how the life, the communications keep unfolding on your timeline. Because now, if I tell you to sit down and write a letter to someone, you will get blank. First of all, you will have to think who's that one person to whom you will write that letter, isn't? Who's that one person to whom you will share your grief, your sorrow, your successes? And unfortunately, yes, this is unfortunately, you write that letter to self. A lot of therapists say that write a letter to yourself. I say, why? Why should I be so poor, not having enough people around me to whom I can share my vulnerabilities? I can share things that have really messed up in my life. Why can't I simply say that, you know what, I'm going through a really bad phase in my life and I need a shoulder to cry? Can that shoulder be yours? No. But we are in a society where we are saying that here's a face that I want to put forward on Instagram, which is so very happy, which is so very happy go lucky. And I know about a lot of stuff. I know about things that you might be, you don't know. I always want to teach. Maybe I am your therapist. Maybe I have some great insights to share about myself and about your own life without knowing what's happening in your life. And then all of a sudden, when it comes to one communication, I really don't have anything to talk. Why is that happening? Because the shift has happened from expression to branding. I don't want my brand to lose money because I have invested my money in that. I don't want my favorite person to break down, possibly, because then tomorrow, if he becomes a failure in his life, I might stop looking up to him. And here is the tough part. When I go on a trip, I see that there are 10 more people who are going on a trip. And therefore, the attention that I used to get earlier is no longer there. That attention has got diluted because you know what? I'm not unique anymore. I'm not unique anymore in the sense of who I am, but I can easily start comparing myself with others. And that is where I really want to do something which will help me to grab more attention. And therefore, I will go beyond the normal. I used to get attention when I used to run just 10 kilometers. And now there are so many people around me who are running 10 kilometers. And suddenly I feel that I'm just a part of the crowd. I now want to run 42 kilometers. There are very fewer people who are running 42 kilometers. And when I get that attention, I feel good. And it is again coming from the aspect that I want to stay loyal to my brand. I'm craving attention somewhere because brand is all about attention. Why do I need attention? Because I want to be better than someone else. I want to be chosen all the time. I want to be in association which is always positive. And possibly, I also want to feel that I truly matter to people and therefore they are sharing my post, they are liking. The currency of communication has suddenly came to the level of what am I sharing, how many followers do I have, how many comments am I getting, and that is how I am also measuring my self worth. My neighbor is getting more likes than me, then possibly there has to be something bad with me, isn't? And you see how we are evolving as a society. Now it's no longer about that one person who understands me, that one person to whom I can go and cry, that one person to whom I can share my happiness. It's about what am I getting, what kind of attention I'm getting. And for that attention, literally, there are a lot of people who go beyond the normal limits and possibly they bury themselves just to get their own self worth reinforced all the time. And then there is another thing that happens as a part of this performance, which we as a brand now want to put forward or put in front of the whole world. We carry the same attitude that we reflect on our social media into our personal lives, into the people among the people around us, into the relationships that we live throughout our day. Because now I don't want to appear weak. I don't want to appear failed. Whatever narrative I am living in my personal life, I want to carry that on to the social media. This performance is not just from one side, it is from the other side as well. Instagram expects you to be something else, therefore, you have to perform in a particular way. LinkedIn wants you to be something else, and therefore, you have to perform in a certain way. I wish it would have stopped there, but it doesn't stop there. At home, you are someone else, at office, you are someone else, and therefore, you have to perform in a particular way at home. And on the other hand, when you go to office, you have to perform in a particular way at office as well. What happens when you just remain who you are? Is it, isn't it difficult? Isn't it appear as if where is that one single place where you can be who you are, where someone can receive you for, when someone can appreciate you for the person who you are? So the performance is not just I want to perform. The performance is also about I want you to perform. Your teacher wants you to perform in a particular way. Your boss wants you to perform in a particular way. Your parents, your brother, sister, cousin, so many people you have in your life. And honestly, it's not about calling that performance is bad. It's just about bringing in the awareness that somewhere we all are performing. Somewhere what we are missing is not someone to communicate. Possibly what we are missing is one connection, one person where we can be who we are. And that is what we lack as a society today. Because, you know, relationship is always a two-way street. If you want me to stop performing, you have to give me a safe place where I can be who I am. And this goes for me as well. If I want you to stop performing, I have to give you that safe place where you can stop performing. And I feel that social media is about performance. It is about bringing forward your best face possible, bringing forward your best version possible, because there is something that we want to achieve out of it. We want to grow our followers so that we can grow in our career, in our business. But it's not, is it the only thing that we want? No. The most human thing that we want is an expression of ourselves, an authentic expression of ourselves. And an authenticity doesn't mean that we are being false. And just maybe we are not able to express ourselves in a way that we want. So I want you to leave. So I want you to leave. How much of performance is your life right now? Are you living your authentic, most honest version? Where is that expression of honest version possible? And are you the person, at least to one human being, one individual, who can say that with you, they can feel a genuine connection in your presence? Are you the one person where nobody else has to perform? Think about it.